Every year, the world produces 300 million tons of plastic waste, 60% of which ends up in landfills or worse, the natural environment. It is estimated that around 10 million tons of plastic enter our oceans every year, and that a staggering 40% of the ocean's surface is currently covered in plastic. If we keep going, by 2030 there will be more plastic in the ocean than fish. Think these numbers are hard to swallow? What if I told you that you're ingesting 5 grams of plastic every week? We all have to do our part to reduce plastic consumption and encourage recycling, and this includes the business world. In this episode, we visit a company in Chile that is leading by example by trying to reduce its negative impact on the planet. Winpack produces packaging products and film for the agricultural and diaper industries. It has 6 plants in Chile, one of which is a recycling plant. It opened 2 years ago and has an annual capacity of 6,000 tons of polyethylene. Winpack strives to reintegrate the material that is discarded during the production process and sends whatever can't be reused right away to the recycling plant to generate other derivatives. The result? The company can currently reuse around 95% of its scrap. The recycling plant receives its raw material from other sites in the holding and from external sources. The plastic comes in bundles of 500 kilos, whose content is then separated. Non-polyethylene material, which is not recyclable, is put aside, and what's left is washed, dried and filtered by means of an extrusion process. The finished product is a pellet that represents the raw material for future processes, with the key benefit of being able to replace virgin resin, but being much cheaper. In recent months, the plant introduced lean thinking to explore opportunities to minimize solid waste and improve the quality of its output. With the help of Marcelo Pinto of Lean Institute Chile, they began mapping their value stream with the end goal of making it greener. They wanted to understand the origin of the waste, the parts of the process in which it is generated. Essentially, they applied root cause analysis to waste generation, just like you would to any operational process. If you understand the origin and composition of the waste, in other words, your current state, your focus shifts from recycling to a future state where you're not generating the waste in the first place. As outlined in the book Green Intentions by Brett Wills, Winpack's vision is divided into 6 key steps. Identify waste in the value generation, understand the makeup of the solid waste, measure the hazardous substances in the garbage, minimize the creation of solid waste in value stream activities and recycle what's left, move toward 100% reusable or biodegradable garbage, and move toward the elimination of solid waste.
Los desafíos más comunes acá en el proceso fue el poder, digamos, generar un aprendizaje, ¿ya? Porque fue algo nuevo para nosotros en este campo, y poder, digamos, poder administrar de buena forma los residuos que nos van llegando, digamos, como materia prima. El poder lograr una segregación adecuada, el poder lograr una administración adecuada y una cuantificación adecuada de los residuos para lograr un reciclado acorde, digamos, a las especificaciones del mercado. Además de eso, bueno, el lograr, digamos, una cultura en las personas en donde se pueda establecer principalmente actitudes que estén enfocadas en el rubro que estamos desarrollando.
Before the introduction of Lean, the plant weighed and measured cardboard and washing residue, but didn't look into the composition of the garbage it received. That's where they saw an opportunity. If they could understand what made up the garbage and in what quantity, surely they could identify more material to recycle. So the decision was made to set up a separating station where garbage could be sorted by type. Measuring its composition for 2 months gave them a clear idea of what they received and helped them to identify more opportunities for recycling, minimizing waste, and producing a higher quality product. The quality of the pellets turned out at the end of the line depends on the separation process. And this is the current focus for the plant, even if it means sacrificing some productivity. A cleaner product translates into a problem-free process for the plants using it. When a material doesn't meet the requirements of other Winpack plants and is rejected, the recycling plant can still sell it to external clients, whose process tolerates higher levels of contamination in the material. But that's of course not ideal. In recent months, thanks to the improved separation process, the recycling plant was able to go from 66% rejected material to 20%. They also looked into the filtering residue, a plastic paste they refer to as dureza, finding a better way to transport it on trucks.
En este caso las durezas, se cambió el formato, se llevaron a molde, ya no era una dureza amorfa, lo que nos ayudó a que si teníamos un fardo de 450 kilos, la llevamos a tonelada, por lo tanto estamos ahorrando una posición más por cada merma de desperdicio de dureza. Esto nos ayuda a disminuir tiempos logísticos, tiempos de administrativos, tiempos de llevadas y traídas y contribuimos a la huella carbón del planeta.
The new separation process created many other possibilities. For example, the team realized they received 11 tons of cardboard each month, used to hold the plastic together in bundles. This is an excessive quantity, which the plant is working with the supplier to reduce and eventually eliminate altogether. This move leads to substantial environmental and financial benefits, because when buying plastic from third-party collectors, Winpack no longer has to pay a raw material price for the cardboard included in the bundles. By even just cutting in half the amount of cardboard, the company can save $63,000 per year. Another component of the garbage the team was able to identify as an unnecessary source of waste that ends up in landfills was the polypropylene plastic cords used in packaging, of which the plant receives 700 kilograms per month. They ran a test on the extrusion line and found that too can be recycled, saving $4,000 a year. Along the way, the team also became more aware of their direct contribution to the generation of plastic waste, specifically in the form of 4,000 plastic cups that were thrown away every month. To eliminate that waste altogether, a water fountain was installed. As they became more granular in their search for waste, they came up with more complex, longer-term projects too. It turned out, for example, that the 9 tons of dureza can also be recycled, leading to a saving of $52,000 per year. The plant is currently looking for buyers for the material, which are likely to be organizations that can work with lower purity plastic, like those manufacturing water hoses or plastic containers. To use this scrap means not to waste anything and to contribute to the circular economy.
Un modelo de negocio en economía circular nos ayuda, nos instruye que lo que a nosotros nos sirva es beneficio para otro y lo que a aquel no le sirva beneficia al que sigue. Entonces, en este caso, nuestras mermas, ya sea el cartón, la dureza, el desecho de lavado, no pasa a ser un desecho en nuestra planta, sino que pasa a ser un subproducto. Ese subproducto se comercializa, se entrega y estamos contribuyendo a todo lo que es la economía circular, porque estamos dándole la vuelta al negocio. Es decir, lo que yo le entrego a la otra persona, él es capaz de reprocesarlo y va a llegar a manos de alguien que se va a beneficiar de ese subproducto, que para nosotros es una merma.
To enable this process of separation and deep analysis required a change in mindset. This was achieved by training people and making them aware of the importance of separating the material. The plant's management team spent a lot of time at the Gemba, explaining to people why they were being asked to do that additional work. And this helped them to understand the importance of separating for the company and for the wider community. To work in a plant that can become an example for others and positively contribute to society is a great motivator. Respect for people is a guiding principle for the plant, which has a strong focus on on-the-job training. This is being provided by safety auditors right by the equipment to ensure that people are aware of the risks, adhere to the standard when operating machines, and always work safely. To date, the 40 people working at the plant have participated in 5,591 risk prevention sessions. 5S is also being used to keep the workplace tidy and organized, and this has generated great benefits for the workers. A big effort is currently underway to improve talent retention. Work is tough at the plant, with long hours spent standing, unforgiving temperatures in the summer months, and a lot of noise. To understand why employees leave and hopefully minimize turnover, exit interviews were introduced. during which the person who is leaving the plant is asked to provide feedback on their time working there. These conversations have led to a number of improvements that aim to make people's lives at work easier.
Nuestro pensamiento como en una industria normal es más bien lineal. ¿Ya? Al ingresar Lean, digamos, al capacitarnos con Lean, nos dio una visión distinta de los problemas, lo cual, alineados con el rubro que estamos trabajando en la actualidad, nos genera, digamos, una conexión en las labores que tenemos que realizar para lograr sustentabilidad y rentabilidad también para la compañía.
Por lo general, cuando uno reduce desperdicios en Lean, como externalidad positiva tiene reducción de desperdicios, por ejemplo, medioambientales, pero también existe la posibilidad de abordar proyectos con objetivos de sustentabilidad propiamente tal, sin que estos sean como una resultante de perseguir productividad o alguna otra métrica. Creo que existe una oportunidad importante porque en Lean le puede dar una estructura o un roadmap claro para resolver este tipo de problemas que actualmente son de primer orden o de suma importancia en cualquier parte del mundo, digamos, a nivel global.
Winpack is turning traditional thinking on its head, looking at waste as a part of the value generation, so to speak. And with little to no investment, they're making great inroads into cutting the amount of solid waste they produce. Too often, sustainability is an afterthought for organizations. This story shows it is possible to include it as a key element of a project with a more operational focus from the very start. Recycling plants normally don't think like this, which makes Winpack's experience somewhat pioneering.